world.
Hello and welcome to our educational activity demonstration for the Big Astronomy project. My name is Renee Kerrigan. I'm a member of the leadership team of this project from Peoria, Illinois, and I'm grateful to have with me here Vivian White, the Director of Free Choice Learning from the Astronomical Society of the Pacific. Vivian is going to be demonstrating a few of the activities in the hands-on toolkit that was created for this project and has already been sent to amateur astronomers and museums around the United States. I think maybe there's a few that you can still request. Is that right, Viv?
There are a couple left.
So if you haven't requested one, there's information about how to do that on our website, bigastronomy.org. Just to note, if you enjoy viewing this event, please feel free to share it with anyone else you think might be interested. If you have questions, you are always welcome to leave us a comment on our Facebook Live video stream and we'll answer them for you. And we have an ongoing series of live events that we'll be doing on our Facebook Live, in Facebook Live on our page, and through Zoom webinars for non-English speakers. We'll have simultaneous translation called Real People, Big Astronomy. And the first event of that is an introduction to ALMA. It's called Meet ALMA, the Atacama Large Millimeter Submillimeter Array. And that is on October 13th, 2020 at 3 p.m. Chile time, 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And we'll have information about that up on our Facebook page and also emailed out to members of our mailing list. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Vivian to introduce these educational toolkits for us.
Thank you so much, Renee. It has been so much fun working with Renee and the entire team on Big Astronomy. And the part that I have been responsible for in this entire production, that's much larger than what you might see in the Planetarium show. It includes the live events that Renee is talking about, and also this, Renee also put together an amazing toolkit for classroom use, so it's an educator guide. And this one in particular that I've put together is for informal educators, and I'm going to share my screen and show you some of the things that come in this toolkit. Let's see, can you see that? Excellent. So you'll see on the screen and right behind me there is a banner that's all about astronomy, and that there is space for everyone to participate in astronomy, and that's one of the 4 goals of this toolkit. And so that astronomy is available for everyone and open to explore in many different ways. You'll see if you watch the Planetarium show, you'll notice a lot of the people on this banner were from the Planetarium show. The other thing that, one of the other topics of the toolkit is multi-wavelength astronomy. So we'll be doing an activity all about filters and how we use them in astronomy, and also in code breaking and in art. And another of the topics is dark skies, which is really, really important for the telescopes that are located in Chile, and one of the main reasons that they are located there. And the last topic is about how astronomy is rooted in cultures around the world. So there is there's an activity on the legends in the sky that is fun to use at different times of year, and you can start to create your own legends. So here we are with a hands-on astronomy toolkit. I work at the Astronomical Society of the Pacific, and we're based in San Francisco, California, but of course we're all working from home right now. And I wanted to show you, maybe, that this assembly is usually a multi-day production with quite a few different people. However, because we were not able to get many people in a large space, we kept all the windows open, and a couple of us were there with masks on. This is just a time lapse of us putting this together. So not only is it hard to facilitate hands-on activities in a time when you can't actually be very hands-on, it is pretty hard to create this. We took it over many months. We took home bits and pieces to create little by little. So we are thrilled that this has gone out, like Renee said, to about 200 astronomy clubs and museums across the country. The astronomy clubs are part of the NASA Night Sky Network, and that is a group of 400 astronomy clubs, 400 and some, all across the U.S. And I'll give you some more information on how to check them out, because there are lots of virtual events happening through the clubs as well.
So fun to see those kits being assembled, Vivian. I got my kit not that long ago, and I was amazed at all the little pieces all organized so nicely, and how you were able to fit so much into a nice sized box.
Yeah, we try and keep them small because we want to make it portable for amateur astronomers and not very fussy, because often as amateur astronomers we're working out in the field with telescopes, and it's not the time to have, powders and liquids and things when you have telescopes. So they're pretty simple to use. They use materials that mostly can be printed yourself, except for one I'll show you later. And they all of the materials should be reproducible, which is great. So I wanted to tell you there are 7 activities in the toolkit, and I'm going to show you one right now that, of course, these are made for hands-on, but in each of these activities we've given you guides to how to do them virtually as well. So Renee, stop me if there are any questions along the way. I'm happy to answer, and everybody who's watching, feel free to ask questions. This is the first activity I'm going to show you. It's called Clues to the Cosmos, and this is the Cat's Eye Nebula. And the Cat's Eye Nebula doesn't actually look like this if you look at it through a telescope. Through a telescope it looks much different, and amateur astronomers are used to people asking, hey, wait a second, that is not the way it looks through Hubble, for example. I want to, everybody, if you have one, pull out your smartphone, because you're going to need it in just a second. So this is your heads up. You're going to need it in about 2 slides. Thanks.
Got mine ready.
Excellent. So this is talking about all the secrets of light that are hidden, that maybe our eyes can't see, and how filters help us discern them. This is the material that's included in the toolkit. You get some fun, oh, that one's so dark. You get lots of filters. That's a red filter, for example. But because you might not have those tuning in from home, we're going to improvise. You'll also see there are some Sharpie markers. So if you get a pink and a blue and a green Sharpie marker, you can do some of these activities and the drawing pieces and the more interactive pieces on your own. Oh, yeah, Renee's got them. They're really fun too. They will disappear through the different filters, and so that's a fun way to make secret codes or pictures that disappear. So, but since we don't have these filters, if you have a smartphone and you have a camera on there, go ahead and just hold it up to this QR code, and it'll take you to the site. If you don't have a QR code reader, if it doesn't work on your camera, there is the link to the site at the top, and this will give you, you just have to agree to let it use your camera, and then it will give you a filter, and you can change the color of the filter from red to green to blue, and then you can choose your own color filter, but we'll stick with the red and green and blue for this experiment, all right? So this is our virtual adaptation for those of us who might not be able to get filters. You could also, I found an old pair of red and green 3D glasses. You can use those also for these. So hopefully you all have these set up now. Let's see. All right, so let's take a look at some colors. When you look at these pictures through one of your filters, what do you notice?
I'm looking at it through a red filter, Vivian, and I can only see the top half of the circle.
Huh. Interesting. Does it change when you look through a different filter?
Let's see. I just tried green, and now I can see only sort of the right hand on my screen and lower portion of the circle. So that corresponds to the yellow, the green, and the cyan.
Great. Yes, exactly. So what do you notice that the filter's doing there? Renee, I'm going to ask you. You're a plant for me.
Well, it seems, just using my observational skills, that when I click on a different filter, I'm only able to see some of the colors that are present on the screen. So only some of the light is getting through the filter.
Right. And which light, for example, is the red filter letting through?
It's definitely letting through red, but it also lets through a little bit of the orange, the yellow, the pink, and the magenta, just in different hues.
Excellent. So astronomers split up light. White light is comprised of all of these colors. On the left-hand side, you'll see a spectrum of the star Vega. And the light has been split up like a prism does into the full rainbow of colors. But you'll notice something on there. I don't know if you can see. Do you see anything on there that looks a little bit different than just a rainbow? There are some lines on there.
Yes.
Yeah, so that happens, and you can look at it through the filters too. You can see different parts of it with the different filters. That happens because stars give off a full spectrum of colors. So if we could get really, really close to the star, we'd see the full spectrum. But the outer layers of the star's atmosphere are blocking some of those colors of light. And that tells us, it allows astronomers to kind of detail what kind of materials are in the outer layers of stars, which really helps us discover more about stars and what they're made of. So that's one way that astronomers can use filters. And there's more information, background information in the activity. I wanted to share a fun way that we use filters as well. This is, this one allows you to decode a secret message. So only one of the colors that you're going to use will decode a secret message. Two of them will show gobbledygook like you see right here.
So fun. I've just discovered that if I push the rainbow button on my app or on the web applet that I'm looking through, it will filter through the different colors. But yes, I've noticed that red.
Excellent. And I've made a little red filter here. Again, if you didn't get a chance to look at the filter on your phone, go ahead and the URLs at the bottom, and you can see you have to be a little bit, this isn't a perfect red filter because it's on the computer, but if you look through that, you'll be able to see the light. And you get to see the secret message.
So fun.
On there. And then you can make secret messages with your Sharpies if you'd like. All the highlighters, the red and blue and green highlighters will come through. You can also use crayons on black paper. So if you have a black piece of paper and you use red and blue and green crayons, that's a really fun way to make secret messages. And of course, there are amazing pictures like we saw in the beginning. This is a supernova remnant, and this is taken in 5 different types of light. So at the bottom, you'll see the red is represented. The red represents radio waves. The infrared is kind of a light yellow. Optical is green. Ultraviolet is blue, and X-ray is purple. So you can look through your filters again or through your camera and see what pieces there. And these tell us about the different types of materials. And sometimes even what's happening, like high energy places or where you'll find dust. And there's more information in each of these. So each of the cards, you can print these out if you'd like, and they've got more information on the back. Oh, there we go, clues of the cosmos, as well as the credits of the Crab Nebula and all the different telescopes that it took to make this image. Oh yeah, and you found my favorite.
As I was flipping through the cards included, I noticed there's also a really cool art card that people can use their filters on. And it's very handy, that QR code for finding this way to do this with your iPhone if you don't want to have people touching is on the back of all the cards.
Yep, absolutely. So, and the people who put together this filter applet, they are the ones who actually created this image. I love it so much. Don't have it in the presentation, but you can definitely download it online. You'll see it there. Also, another way to do this virtually is you can create your own images. The National Radio Astronomy Observatory, another NSF project, they have created one of my favorite activities to do with color. And it allows you to use different colors and create any image you want. You get to be the artist, and you get to use many different colors, and you get to decide how bright they are. So the URL is on the bottom left. It is super fun. You can spend far too long doing that, a whole afternoon if you like. And you can download the pictures. They're fabulous, and there are lots of different, maybe about 6 or 7 different objects that you can color that are really, really beautiful. So, you know, those colors that we pick when we see those, they're not entirely random, but they are representational. They represent the colors that, they represent the types of light, and that's not actually what the image looks like in visible light when we look at it with our eyes. All right. Yay, okay. I want to do one more activity, but I wanted to talk a little bit about, we have this, the toolkit's got a full manual here. I liked Renee's manual for her educational, what you've got for your
teacher educator guide, yeah.
Educator guide, thank you, which can be found on the web as well. I like that a lot, so I borrowed her design, and this has got all of the toolkit activities in it. Each one, like shows on the screen here, each one comes with 2 pages that are made specifically for the public, help you ask questions about the phenomena that are being explored. A lot of times for amateur astronomers, we like to be the sage on the stage and know all of the things, but you know, research shows that the way to engage people around a concept is actually by asking questions. So these are mostly questioning techniques that you can ask. There is some information about, like for example, in this next one, good light, good night, we're going to talk about light pollution, and then there's some information about why it might be important to you, whether you care a lot about the animals who are affected, or the energy use, or the health effects that it can have. So each of these activities has information. There's also another 2 pages for the presenter, and that will give you information, background information and setup information, things like that. All right, so this one's going to take a little bit of doing. We'll see how it goes. You ready? I'm going to have to, the reason I'm up here in my attic is that I had to find a dark place. And this activity, Good Night, Good Light, requires a dark place. And I wanted to mention that we adapted this from the amazing quality lighting teaching kit from NOAO. They have done a really incredible job of putting together a lot of dark sky resources. And this is one of my favorite, always has been. I've used it for years, and we have just created it. A slightly different version that's used for informal ed, and we hope you enjoy it. So I'm going to put this right here. Let's see if we got this. We're going to start with this little piece of felt, and I'm going to turn the lights down. I'll be right back.
So Vivian's running to turn off the lights in her attic, her dark space. So she's got in the kit, there's a piece of felt, so just a simple square of green felt. And I know one of the things she's going to use is you need a figure, you need a little character. So there's a little green bear in the kit to give you a character. And of course, you're going to need a lighting source.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. And you can't really see me, but that's all right. What you're going to want to see is this green felt here that I showed you before I turned it out, the lights off. And that's going to represent the ground. And we're going to put this street light here. Now this street light, yeah, Renee, thank you for showing us in real time in the light. The street light is a mag light that's put in candle mode. So you just take the top off and set it on its top. And this represents a street light that is using a lot of light and not very wisely. So what do you notice? Have you ever seen a street light like this? There are lots of pictures that we include. Um, we call this pretty awful lighting because, as you can see, it shines in every direction. It's lighting up the area above it. Now that area does not need to be lit up, right? People often worry um, that less light makes you less safe, but we wanted to show that actually what you want is directed light. You want light that is going to the right place at the right time. And instead of lighting up the night sky, which really bums out not just astronomers, but also birds and turtles and many other species who rely on dark skies, you can use a shield to shield this light and direct the light down where you actually want it. Not only does this use less light, because you aren't lighting up the night sky, but you'll also notice there's somebody waiting for me. This is when you live in a house with children, little green bears go missing. So this is a cupcake with ears. You can use anything really. um, you can see that you couldn't have seen this little friend of mine who was waiting for me under the streetlight if it were not a shielded streetlight, right? So that is an unshielded light. And when you shield it and direct the light down, you end up not just being safer, but using light more wisely, using less light. You don't have to use as much light, and helping protect birds and turtles and other animals, including humans, who really do need dark skies in order to, and need to some darkness in order to be healthy and sane. So one thing you can't see here, I'm going to pull this up. This one works really well in a situation where you're in person, but for some reason I tried it out earlier and you can't see it when you are in a dark environment on the web. Oh, my picture is really grainy. I'll be right back. All right, shed some light on this. Whew, lots of light. Yeah, so this is a mini planetarium box and it's got holes. We poke holes in the top and there's a bright light in there. So if you stick this near the ceiling, then when you shield the street light down there, you'll also notice that the stars come up. This is a great activity. You can do it under the night sky. You can do it in a planetarium, and show the difference between shielded light and then let your eyes adapt and you can actually see so much more of the sky. This also happens to have information about big astronomy, about steps that you can do to protect the night sky, and about how it affects wildlife, and one of my favorites, the globe at night. Let me see if I've got this. I'm going to share my screen one more time. Again, one of the ways we start this activity often is getting people to talk about when they have seen a truly dark sky. That's one of the, it can be a really powerful memory for a lot of people. Oops. Let's see. Oh, that was in case it didn't work. One of the pieces on here that we include is the Globe at Night program. And this is a really fun program that you can do from your own backyard or anywhere you happen to be. They are happening all the time. The next one's in October. And the Globe at Night is you get to measure how many stars you can see in the night sky in a particular constellation. The Globe at Night also has that full suite of classroom activities at globeatnight.org/DSR for Dark Sky Rangers. It goes with, let me just stop sharing for 1 second. The Globe at Night we also use as kind of a template for one of the activities in the toolkit. This is a dark sky wheel, and you can count, you can see these are the limiting magnitudes down here that show how dark your skies are. So they get lighter. You can see more and more of the constellation Orion, for in this example, as the skies get darker, and it gives you things to look for during each of these different sky darknesses. That's one of the things that we have that's connected to Globe at Night, and I thought it would be a fun resource to do together, especially when we're able to be at home a lot more. This gives you a little bit of information about some of the legends around the constellation you'll see. And there's one other activity I wanted to mention. We have an activity called Legends in the Sky. And they start with either a star or a cluster of stars like the Pleiades here. And you can print these out. But on the back, there are legends from around the world. For example, the Mapuche people of southern Chile see freshly dug potatoes. We've worked with lots of different indigenous people to make sure that we're telling stories that are appropriate, and we include information in the write-up about how to be thoughtful when you're telling stories of other people. So that is one piece. And then that allows, if you have a way to print things out, you can create your own constellation. This one's Betelgeuse. So this is Orion for the winter sky, but you can allow students or visitors to make their own constellations and tell the story of what they see in the sky, kind of creating their own legends.
It's so much fun, and I also love the light shielding activity because it's just so easy to see how it works. And I just wanted to mention for our viewers that if they want to learn a ton more about Globe at Night, we were able to feature Dr. Connie Walker as one of our real people who work in Big Astronomy, and she's just amazing educator in terms of light pollution and instrumental in the Globe at Night program, and that can be found on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook Live as well.
Yeah, she is incredible. She's one of my dark sky heroes. I think that's about it. I just have one more slide. Let me just share my screen once more and show you where to find everything. Let's put it in presenter mode, see how that goes. Right. So all of these materials can be found there. I made a bit.ly about it because it's a long URL, but the Outreach Toolkit can be found at bit.ly/bigastro. That's got all of the materials and links to many, many more. Oh, the one thing that I haven't shown you that was one of my favorite things that we created for the toolkit, the one thing that you cannot make for yourself. Well, you could. I made many of them as we tested this. Some were better than others. Okay, woo! Oh, this is like 7 years bad luck. Okay, but this is a galaxy umbrella that we created, and it's got a "You Are Here" circle. I don't know if you can see that-ish. It talks about what you can see when you look up in the night sky, and then it's got some scaling activities on there. We have a whole activity about a galaxy model. Now you can print this yourself. You can print it on a banner. This is by Robert Hurt, and it's an illustration. Of course, we can't get out of our own galaxy to look down and see what it looks like. We're stuck in here. In fact, we're much too small to see on this scale. But we have a lot of astronomers doing a lot of research, and in order to see through some of the stars and dust, they're using all of those different wavelengths that we were talking about. And so we have an activity that talks a little bit about that and how this illustration was made. It's our best approximation of what we think our own Milky Way galaxy looks like to date. So it'll keep getting better because science always keeps improving.
We're all pretty excited about galaxy umbrellas in our kit.
Yeah, and it's great. If it ever rains again in California, we'll be thrilled. And I will pull this out. We've had amateurs who have been asking for a long time for an easy to carry galaxy model, and we tried many, many things in our quest for this. And you know, it's a model that's not exactly correct, obviously, but it illustrates some important points. So. And that's everybody. I think that's most of the activities in the kit. There are a few others. We have a spectrum treasure hunt, for example. That's fun. You can go and look for all of the different lights in your house and see what the spectrum of those different lights look like. But I think that's all I've got for today.
Well, thank you, Vivian. And folks, we will likely have another event with Vivian to go through one or two of the more activities in detail. But for now, I'm going to double check, make sure there's no question. There is a question from John. How do you make the mag light in candle mode?
Oh, good question. Yeah. So you unscrew the top of it, and so turning it on, oops, there we go. When you turn it off, you screw it tightly, and then that turns um, it turns the light off. But then when you unscrew it, you pull it out, and you just stick this right down in the base of it, and that serves as the base for the. Oh, can't really see that.
Yeah, you basically screw it to turn it on and just keep going, and it will come up.
Also tricky, I didn't know this before, but there is an extra light bulb hidden in the top if you happen to break yours, because that can happen in candle mode. You have to be a little bit more careful than usual.
So I don't see any more if there's any other questions, please, folks, viewers, feel free to leave them in the comment field, and we'll do our best to answer them for you. But I just want to note that we hope to have Vivian back to talk about a few more activities included in these kits in detail. And again, you can find information for the kits at that bit.ly address that she shared, and I will put it in the comments as well. And we have information on our website, which is bigastronomy.org. In fact, you can go on over to bigastronomy.org to find out all sorts of information. We have a lot of resources for teaching astronomy and helping people understand that it takes many diverse skills and backgrounds to make big science and big astronomy happen, which is, of course, the whole goal of this National Science Foundation funded project. And our next upcoming event will be Big Astronomy Live Meet ALMA. So just an overview of the Atacama Large Millimeter Submillimeter Array Observatory, which is featured in the film. It's in the Atacama Desert in Chile. And that will be on October 13th, 2020 at 3 p.m. Chile time, 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We'll be posting about that on our Facebook page and sending an email about it as well. And today, the worldwide premiere of Big Astronomy, we have 2 more live streams for you. One in about an hour and a half at 7 p.m. CDT, so you can translate that to your time zone. And then a second one 2 hours after that at 9 p.m. CDT, another stream of Big Astronomy. So if you haven't had a chance to see the film yet, we'll be live streaming it 2 more times today, and then ongoing. And to our Spanish viewers, we had a little hiccup in our Spanish live stream today, which we sincerely apologize for. And we will be doing another Spanish live stream later on in the week as well. So we have a focus group in the comments if you're interested in giving us, helping us out with some of the research associated with the project. Please check out those links in the comments. Anything else to share, Vivian?
I just wanted to say the Planetarium show was incredible to see in 360. I got to be on my screen and just zooming all around so I could see above me and below me. I really want the VR glasses so I can feel like I'm in the planetarium. Very cool. I've never seen it before.
Yeah, it was very fun. We were very happy with the turnout, and if you haven't seen it, come back. We have 2 more streams today. But thank you everyone for tuning in. We thank you for your support of the Big Astronomy project, and we'll be back soon.